You notice it in small moments. A friend asks if you want to meet for coffee, and you say yes even though your body feels heavy with exhaustion. Your partner suggests plans for the weekend, and you agree before checking whether you actually want to go. Someone at work needs help with something that isn't your responsibility, and you stay late anyway, telling yourself it's fine, that it doesn't matter, that this is just what you do. And in each of these moments, there is a brief flicker of something underneath, a whisper of resistance, a quiet no that never makes it to your lips. You feel it for half a second, and then it's gone, buried under the automatic yes that has become your default response to the world. This is not about being kind. It is not about being generous or selfless or good. It is about something quieter and more unsettling, the realization that you have spent so long responding to what others need, what others expect, what others want from you, that you have stopped noticing what you need at all. Your own feelings have become background noise, something you register only when they become loud enough to be unavoidable. When you are so tired you can barely function, so angry you finally snap, so empty that even getting out of bed feels impossible. And even then, you often wonder if you are overreacting, if you are being dramatic, if you should just push through. There is a moment many people experience, usually alone, usually at night, when they realize they do not know what they want anymore. Not in the big, philosophical sense, though that too, but in the immediate, physical sense. Do I want to eat? Am I actually tired, or just avoiding something? Do I want to see this person, or do I just feel obligated? The answers do not come easily, because the questions themselves have been silenced for so long that they no longer feel legitimate. And this is where the real unease begins, not in the exhaustion or the resentment, but in the recognition that you have become a stranger to yourself. So the question emerges, quietly, almost afraid of its own weight. Why do I constantly put others and what I should do above myself, without even noticing it? The answer is not simple, and it does not live in a single moment or decision. It lives in the accumulation of thousands of small adaptations you made over years, each one so subtle that you did not register it as a loss. You learned, at some point, that your acceptance in the world was conditional, that love, approval, connection, and safety came not from being yourself, but from being what others needed you to be. This learning did not happen through one dramatic event. It happened in the quiet spaces of childhood and adolescence, in the small moments when you expressed a need and were met with impatience, or when you said no and felt the air in the room change, or when you saw someone else be too much, too demanding, too selfish, and watched how they were treated afterward. You learned that there was a right way to be, and that right way involved making yourself smaller, quieter, easier. You learned that your needs were negotiable, but others' needs were not. You learned that conflict was dangerous, that disappointing people had consequences, that being useful meant being valued. And so you began to adapt. You began to read the room before you entered it, to scan faces for signs of displeasure, to adjust your behavior in real time to keep everything smooth. You became very good at this. So good that it stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like who you are. The mechanism operates mostly outside your conscious awareness. You do not sit down and think, I will ignore what I want now in order to keep this person happy. Instead, what you want simply does not register as important enough to consider. The thought does not complete itself. You feel tired, and then immediately think, but they need me, or it's not that bad, or I can rest later. You feel frustrated, and then think, I'm probably being too sensitive, or they didn't mean it that way, or it's not worth making a thing out of this. The dismissal happens so fast that you do not notice you are doing it. Your own feelings become something to manage, to minimize, to talk yourself out of, rather than something to honor. Consider the small, recurring situations that reveal this pattern. You are at dinner with friends, and someone suggests splitting an appetizer you do not want. You say sure, because saying no feels awkward, feels like you are being difficult. Later, you are annoyed at yourself, mostly, for agreeing to something you did not want. But the annoyance is vague, shapeless, easier to ignore than to examine. Or you are on the phone with a family member who is venting about their day, and you are exhausted, barely able to focus, but you stay on the line because ending the call feels cruel. You tell yourself you are being supportive, but underneath, there is a growing sense of resentment you do not want to acknowledge. Or you agree to take on a project at work even though you are already stretched too thin, because saying no feels like admitting you cannot handle things, like revealing some fundamental inadequacy. In each of these moments, there is a split. On the surface, you are cooperative, agreeable, helpful. Underneath, there is a quiet accumulation of frustration, exhaustion, resentment. But you do not connect the two. You do not see that the tiredness you feel is not just physical, that the irritability is not random, that the emptiness is not a personal failing. You see these things as separate from your choices, as something wrong with you rather than something happening because of a pattern you have been living inside for years. The cost of this pattern is not immediate. It does not announce itself. It builds slowly, like water eroding stone. You stop knowing what you enjoy, because enjoyment has not been a priority. You stop trusting your own feelings, because you have spent so long talking yourself out of them. You stop believing that your needs are legitimate, because every time they arose, you learned to set them aside. And eventually, you stop feeling much of anything clearly. There is just a low hum of exhaustion, a sense that something is off, a vague dissatisfaction you cannot name. What makes this particularly painful is that the people around you often do not see it. They see someone who is reliable, easygoing, low maintenance. They do not see the effort it takes, the constant internal negotiation, the slow disappearance of your own presence in your own life. And because they do not see it, you begin to believe that this is just how things are, that this is what it means to be a good person, a good partner, a good friend. You begin to believe that the alternative, saying no, prioritizing yourself, expressing what you actually feel, is selfish, is too much, is something only people who do not care about others would do. But here is the truth that sits at the center of this entire pattern. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing at being a person. You are living inside a learned response that once protected you, that once helped you navigate a world where your needs were not safe to express. And that response, which served you then, is now costing you something vital. It is costing you access to yourself. The moment you begin to notice this, not to fix it, not to change it immediately, but simply to notice it, something shifts. You start to see the pattern not as who you are, but as something you have been doing. You start to recognize the automatic yes for what it is, not generosity, but avoidance. Not kindness, but fear. Not selflessness, but a deep, old belief that your needs do not matter as much as everyone else's. This recognition does not come with fanfare. It comes quietly, often in the middle of an ordinary moment. You are saying yes to something, and for the first time you pause. You notice the tightness in your chest, the flicker of resistance, the part of you that does not want to do this. And instead of dismissing it, instead of talking yourself out of it, you just notice it. You let it be there. You do not have to act on it yet. You do not have to change anything. You just have to see it. And in that seeing, something begins to loosen. Because once you notice the pattern, you cannot unnotice it. You start to catch yourself mid-dismissal. You start to feel the resentment and recognize where it is coming from. You start to see that the exhaustion is not random, that the emptiness is not inevitable, that the loss of yourself did not just happen, It was something you participated in, one small concession at a time. This does not mean you suddenly become someone who says no to everything, who prioritizes yourself ruthlessly, who stops caring about others. It means you begin to see that caring for others and caring for yourself are not opposites. It means you begin to understand that ignoring your own needs does not make you a better person, it makes you a depleted one. It means you start to recognize that the people who truly value you do not need you to be self-erasing in order to love you. The shift is internal before it is external. It begins not with changing your behavior, but with changing your relationship to your own feelings. It begins with letting them exist without immediately dismissing them. It begins with noticing when you are tired, when you are frustrated, when you do not want to do something, and not judging yourself for feeling that way. It begins with treating your own needs as information rather than inconvenience. You do not have to become someone new. You do not have to fix yourself. You just have to start listening. And listening begins with the simplest, quietest act, noticing what you feel, without rushing to change it, explain it away, or dismiss it as unimportant. Because the first step toward caring for yourself is not action. It is honest noticing. It is the willingness to sit with what is true for you, even when that truth is uncomfortable, even when it conflicts with what you think you should feel, even when it asks something of you that feels difficult. You have spent so long adapting to the world around you that you forgot you are also part of that world. You forgot that your needs are as real as anyone else's. You forgot that you matter not because of what you do for others, but because you are here. And now, quietly, you are beginning to remember.